Paul's view of the church in Ephesians 4 is fairly straightforward, but the application of what he says here today might raise some questions, I'm not sure. But he says in verse 10 of Ephesians 4, "He who descended is himself also he who ascended far above the heavens," speaking of Messiah, "so that he might fill all things. He gave some as apostles." We clearly do not have apostles at the level of the 12. In order to be an apostle at the level of the 12, you have to have seen Jesus personally, shaken hands with him, and you also have to have the accrediting signs and wonders of an apostle. I don't think anybody today has that. But we are nevertheless under the authority of those apostles that existed in the first century. They didn't name their successors, apparently. Timothy was not an apostle. He was a delegate. But he wasn't named as an apostle successor to Paul. So they came to an end. That order of the 12 came to an end with the canon, I believe. The prophets, as far as prediction is concerned, the Agabuses, I don't see those today. They're extremely rare, but they don't make any impact on us particularly. You can have people prophesying in the more general sense of encouraging and teaching and all of that, but not as Agabus, predicting the future accurately. Pastor teachers, clearly, possibly one rank. Some translations give us a single rank there, pastor teachers. You have to have them to have a church, of course, at all. So, all of this is for equipping the saints for the work of ministry. The idea is that we train the team for the work of ministry. That doesn't happen very well. Often the teaching that gets done comes to an end when the church service ends instead of being taken out there. So I think all church members should learn to do their share in the spreading of the message. The object of all of this is until we attain to the unity of the faith. Now, we haven't got the unity of the faith very well today, because we've got thousands of different denominations. That seems to be quite contrary to what Paul says in 1 Corinthians. He says, "I want you to be all saying the same thing, agreeing. There be no divisions," in 1 Corinthians 1:10 this is. So our denominational setup today seems to be a plain rejection of the New Testament. "I want there to be no denominations," Paul said in 1 Corinthians 1:10. "No denominations, no divisions among you, that you all be made complete in the same mind and the same judgment." Something has obviously gone horribly wrong to produce such an evident contradiction of Paul's will here. The idea that we have one mind, one judgment, not thousands of different separating denominations. That seems to make nonsense of the whole story.